Here is a question from one of my readers on my email list. I appreciate your use of strategic narratives for businesses. I think my nonprofit is focused on strategic narratives for communities and professional groups around the idea of narrative change and systems change. I'd love to hear how you think those issues may or may not be connected and why or why not. This question ties back to how my work and my definition of strategic narrative was influenced. It was very much influenced by the work of those practicing narrative change, which is very often time in the field of social change and social justice. Narrative change is the process of shifting the way a group of people thinks, interprets, and discusses specific topic. If you think about big narrative in society around justice, healthcare, education, violence, there are definitely what's called dominant narratives, which are dominant ways to think about specific topics and about solving specific issues. Now, if you turn to businesses, when you run a business, when you even start a business or when you innovate, you may run into change management issues. And the core of change management is changing the way people see a situation. So what you do is that you practice the same process as those in narrative change and community and systems change fields. You do the same. You run against the dominant narrative that people have adopted, that is institutionalized, that has been around for a long time. And your role as a leader, as an entrepreneur, is to change that narrative. How do you do this? You build what I call a strategic narrative. A strategic narrative is a system of stories, norms, and habits that helps you invite people into a new opportunity, that helps you mobilize them, whether they are part of your team, they are partners, or clients. This is a crucial process that you need if you are running a professional services firms, because yes, most of your work will consist of transforming the condition, the situation, the work of your clients through a process of change management. Sometimes, and most of the time, you will only try to optimize a few things. There is little change there. And so maybe a very strong strategic narrative is less essential for you. But in other cases, when you strive to really transform people, that's when your strategic narrative is indispensable. If you don't have a strategic narrative, how can you change people's mindset? How can you help them adopt new processes, new tools, new framework, if first of all, they don't change the way they look at things? And for many consultants, coaches, engineers, designers, even financial planners, change is of the essence. They struggle to implement their solutions, and their clients sometimes struggle to adopt their thinking and their ideas because the change management process is not well handled. So that's when having the skills, the skill set to build a stronger strategic narrative helps you drive people through that change in everything they do. For MetaHelm, for instance, well, we help CEOs, founders, business owners really get their company into a very clear direction and help them make traction. And that requires changes in the way they see their vision, they see themselves as a leader, how they market their service offerings to their community and their market, how they operate as a team and also by themselves if they are a solopreneur, and how they sell their services. Yes, there are very dominant and unhealthy narratives that we acquire as a professional because that's what we've been told to do, right? We don't know that there are different ways. There are more efficient ways to do specific things, especially selling, for instance. And so we don't know better. And so the work of MetaHelm is to create that safe space where narrative change can happen so that we help you create a better strategic narrative. So again, the question was, I think my nonprofit is focused on strategic narratives for communities and professional groups around the idea of narrative change and systems change. I'd love to hear how you think those issues are connected. Speaking of strategic narrative, where that's the connection, it's right there. It's just same type of process implemented for a different field and for different reasons and different challenges, obviously. I hope this video helps you, and I hope I was able to answer your question. If you have additional comments and other questions, I invite you to post them anywhere I show up, whether here on YouTube or on LinkedIn. You know, I'm very active on LinkedIn. I also use Twitter now. I've started doing this lately, or just sign up to my email list, and you will be prompted and invited to answer a quick survey where you can leave your questions. Thank you so much.